So, in 2 days, you are going to log in and 2 banners will pop up right next to each other. On one of them is a brand new face, someone who completely rewrites how you think about electro-charged teams. And on the other, you have one of the cleanest, most reliable Hydro sub-DPS characters this game has to offer. It is a tough choice, so here is the plan I wish someone had handed me when I was in a similar spot. We are going to cover what these banners are, how Flins actually works in simple terms, why Yelan pairs with him so well, which of the 4 stars really matter, why these banners are so valuable together, and finally, a calm answer to that big question, should you pull? But first, are you ready for Nod Cry? The anniversary is here, which means the double top-up bonus is reset. Get double crystals for less at lootbar.gg. It works just like the in-game top-up system, but with savings of up to 25% off. On top of that, new users get a 10% discount coupon, and existing users can stack special discounts during the Nod Cry launch. See this? The regular $100 pack only costs $85 on Lootbar. All you need is your UID, no password, no login. Just pick your bundle, select your server, enter your UID, and your crystals get delivered in seconds. Lootbar has awesome reviews. It's fast, secure, and trusted by tons of players. If you're topping up for Genshin's anniversary, don't waste your money. Click the link in the description or pinned comment and top up now with Lootbar. Phase 2 is pretty straightforward on paper. The featured 5 stars are Flins and Yelan. The 4-star lineup backing them up includes Aino, Dori, and Sucrose. Now that mix already starts to tell a story about what these banners are trying to do. Sucrose, for instance, brings valuable grouping, a nice dose of elemental mastery for your reactions, and she enables a gentle rotation flow that helps your teams scale up without asking for perfect, frame-tight inputs. Then you have Aino, who brings hydro utility from a very unique angle, adding quality off-field hits while you stay on your main character. Having those two together on a banner is already high value for any potential Flins teams, because they provide exactly what he wants, which is support that lets him do his job without needing to pull him off the field every other second. Dori, by comparison, is more of a safety and battery option. She is certainly not bad, but she is just not as central to the best team shells for Flins as the other two are. So if you do end up getting her, think of her more as a comfort piece you can pull in for some extra energy or sustain, rather than being the core engine of the party. Let's talk about Flins first. He is an on-field electro carry who really likes to stay out front while your teammates do their work from the back lines. The gameplay loop is simple. You turn his lamp on, you keep swinging, and the pressure on the enemy stays steady and consistent. He feels fantastic in longer fights where just staying on your target and dealing reliable damage matters more than executing fancy animation cancels. If you are the kind of player who enjoys driving a team yourself instead of constantly swapping between characters every few seconds, he is going to fit your style perfectly. He really stands out because he turns the electro-charged reaction into what's called lunar-charged damage, and he does it very cleanly. This is where a partner like Yelan becomes perfect, since her hydro arrows follow your active character's attacks and keep the hydro element rolling. Kokomi also works quite well in this slot if you want bigger healing and a wider area of hydro application. If you add Aino to that setup, it gets even better with her off-field damage, protection, and that lunar synergy that lets Flins keep attacking without getting interrupted or bumped around. The whole team just ends up feeling incredibly smooth and low stress. He is also easy to build. He likes attack and gets a bit of elemental mastery from his own kit, and he really appreciates that steady stream of off-field hydro. He is happiest when you can just hold your ground and pour out a constant flow of damage, and his swings hit in a small cone in front of him, so he can still clear out groups of enemies. If you want to lead the charge from the front while your supports keep the reactions going, Flins is going to feel natural on day 1 and will only get better as more lunar-focused teammates arrive in the future. Speaking of building these perfect little teams that just hum along, I am always curious about the puzzles you all are trying to solve in your own accounts. Drop a comment below and tell me which character you are trying to build a team for right now. Maybe it is an old favorite or someone you just pulled. I love reading through those, and sometimes we can all brainstorm some ideas together. Now, Yelan, on the other hand, is about as plug-and-play as a character can get, and her value is not falling off anytime soon. She applies hydro from off-field in a steady, reliable rhythm, follows your on-field driver with her elegant arrows, and she even buffs the active character's damage over time. She does all of that while asking for very little time on the field herself. In a Flins team, she becomes the perfect backbone. Her burst basically lays down the water rails, you swap to Flins, you turn on his lamp, and you just keep swinging while electro-charged, now converted to lunar-charged, keeps firing off. If you have ever wanted a team that feels like a well-oiled machine humming along with low-stress inputs, that pairing is exactly it. The best way to really see this banner's value is to picture the real teams you can build, rather than just looking at lines of theory. With Nefer on board, you get a classic team structure that feels like it was storyboarded from the start. You would have Flins on the field, Nefer off-field, a hydro slot that could be Aino or Kokomi depending on your comfort with healing, and then a flex slot. If you place Yelan in that flex slot, the team just becomes smoother, faster, and stronger without adding any real complexity. If you do not own Kokomi, that same idea still works perfectly with Yelan taking the main hydro slot and Sucrose filling that last seat to add grouping and elemental mastery. Even if you do not have Aino, you can still craft a strong team with Flins, Yelan, and Sucrose, and just use a safety or battery character in that last slot. But you will be missing the shielding and lunar synergy that Aino brings until you can find a suitable replacement. There is also a more aggressive version where you drop Nefer entirely and lean into pure electro pressure. That would look like Flins on field, with Raiden Shogun or Yaimiko off field, Aino or Yelan providing the hydro, and a fourth slot that covers resistance shred and grouping. It may not have the same damage ceiling as the Nefer shells in dedicated lunar content, but it is a really fun way to drive through weekly bosses and general exploration with almost no downtime. Since the 4 stars are the quiet engine of any healthy roster, let me circle back to them for a moment. Sucrose is not flashy, but she is perfect for the reaction math involved here, and her crowd control makes Flynn's spear drops land on stacked targets, which really pumps up your actual damage numbers. Aino is a gift for hydro uptime, and because she lives off-field after her initial setup, she never fights Flins for that valuable field time. Dori is more niche in this context, and while she can provide battery and healing, most of Flynn's best teams will prefer the stronger hydro application and mastery buffs from the other two. If your plan is to build a new team from scratch just from this banner, the fact that 2 of the 4 stars are core pieces and the 5-star duo complements each other so well is really powerful. It means your chances of rolling something you can immediately use are much higher than average, even if you have to stop pulling before a 5-star lands. So should you pull? If you own enough of the supporting cast and you genuinely enjoy on-field carries, then Flins is a yes from me. He gives you a fresh playstyle to enjoy, he lines up well with how the new region wants you to play, and he scales nicely with off-field supports rather than demanding sky-high mechanical skill. If you do not own an Nefer, but you love electro characters and like the idea of a stance-based driver who just sits in the pocket and swings, he is still worth considering. You just have to accept the fact that he does lose some of his potential damage without an Nefer. Yelan is a yes for almost everyone who does not own her yet. She is just timeless utility, and the fact that she makes Flins better is a clean bonus. Before we wrap up, I want to speak to the mood that a lot of you have shared with me recently. It is not ideal that some of the best team compositions now almost expect you to have specific pairs of characters. I do not love saying that Flins needs a Nefer, or that Skirk needed a Escoffier, or that Nefer will want Lauma, but that seems to be where the design is headed today. The flip side is that the pairs we are getting are genuinely fun to play, and they often make team rotations feel smoother rather than heavier and more complicated. One more upside here is flexibility. Unlike the Skirk and Escoffier pairing, which really pushes you into a strict 2-element box, Flins with Nefer or Flins with Yelan still leaves you room to add a 3rd element or an Anemo grouper without breaking the engine of the team. If you can plan around that design trend, you will probably enjoy the ride more. If you cannot do that this patch, that is perfectly fine. Build the half of the pair you like now and just wait for their partner to return on a future banner. This game is not a sprint. If this helped you feel a little more clear instead of overwhelmed, tell me in the comments who you are going for in Phase 2. Are you planning to lock in Flins first and then maybe chase Yelan? Or are you a Yelan first player who will try for Flins if luck smiles on you? Do you already have Aino and Sucrose leveled up and ready to slide right into a new team? I truly love reading your plans, and I learn a lot from seeing how different people solve the same team-building problems. Tap the like button if this walkthrough saved you some time, and subscribe if you want fast code posts and honest banner guides as we push deeper into Nod Cry.